Hi, I'm Anke.
And I'm Dave. We are about to begin the process of construction. Unfortunately, we've had a few setbacks. Our materials arrived 4 months late.
Yeah, which is a problem because we know already that in June we'll have a lot of horseflies, and that's going to be really bad.
This is the horsefly capital of the world, and these horseflies are as bad as they get. But we've been here before. We built our last boat here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
We'll power through. The other consequence is that we won't be taking the trip this season. We're going to have to wait till next year to take the first major trip with it. So we're hoping to get the hull finished, get some of the work done on it, and be ready to go next season. Okay, let's get started.
We finally set up.
Let's get busy.
We're joining and sheathing the underside of the bottom, which leaves it fragile. We'll flip it along this edge before cutting away the tabs and finishing the other side.
I'm curving the lower bow flap, spacing as needed.
We're using acrylic and more expensive epoxy in outside areas, and acrylic and cheaper Titebond 3 in the cabin area.
Bottom offcuts serving as spacers.
It's assembly day!
This is the best day of the build.
Building from the bottom up keeps everything nice and square. And you don't have to flip the boat. We're starting with the mid bulkhead and joining the sides for the classic H. This is the tack phase of what's called tack and tape as opposed to stitch and glue.
We prefer clamps and truckers' hitches to Spanish windlasses.
We later got smarter and started using the handles for horn cleats. Curves right.
Galley bulkhead.
Guide holes have been pre-bored through the sides for boring and nailing into the bulkheads at assembly time.
Clamping the cabin decks in place guarantees that things are square up top.
Block up the bottom and done.
Cutting biaxial tape is cheaper and allows different widths for different jobs.
Here's the taping phase of tack and tape. This is all pretty standard. We make a fillet, form it to a rough radius. We're not too precise. We let the tape do most of the work. Then we wet it all down with straight epoxy and spread any excess up the sides. A flush hatch means one less thing to stumble over. The draining hatch is basically a subdeck with lips and spacers built up from it. The main deck is added over the spacers. The hatch lid overlaps its lips for a kerf fit with the upper deck. This helps keep dirt out of the trough.
Trace the lower bow flap against the sides and cut away the offcuts.
Here we're fairing the bottom to the sides. We'll also fair down the 3/4 inch bottom to the 1/2 inch upper bow plate.
I'm marking the platform level using the seat height as a guide.
Dave is using an offset to spile the platform planks. They will double as lee boards and store along the side when not in use.
We're using gap-filling liquid polyurethane to laminate the boards. Platform cleat ends secure the boards. We're building spacered outwails to accept accessories.
A sharp saw really helps with these.
Can never have too many clamps either. These outwails are built heavy to support eventual loads from cross beams and lee boards. We use T-nuts along the shear to help keep a low profile.
I'm boring half-hole toe rail limbers through 2 planks, edge clamped together.
Note the side props. These keep the decks from sagging, so keep their lands flat for gluing.
Here's a first look at our telescoping hatches running on twin rails.
For the long outboard chines, we're using a heavy biaxial tape backed with mat. Mat side outboard, this is tough and chafe resistant, but is a little hard to handle. So we wet it out in the trough and pay it out as we go. Time to jack it up, tape the outside chines, and paint. So here's a milestone. The hull proper is complete. The rectangular sections came together to form a curvy boat. All that's left are add-ons and details. We're sewing up identical sails that join along edges. Both faces are alike along luff and leech, using hook, loop, and paracord. Loops every foot of length serve as grommets, while the crossbars can be laced to back up the Velcro. It's a wardrobe!
We are using a rocket stove, inside and out, so we need a hood to gather what little smoke remains.
Here we are at the end of the project, toward the end of the project. We're putting the finishing touches on the hull. Of course, there's many other tasks to go with it. But we're tired and happy.
I'm drinking our last cup of coffee here before we go back to our boat.
We've been fighting horseflies all day. They're just all season.
Pretty crazy.
They're dying down for the day, but they're still
Zipping around.
thickish. But it's been a longer project than we expected, but it's we've learned a lot, and the boat's getting simpler and simpler. Well, here we are on our first night afloat. Finally made it to the water.
Yeah, I made it up the river for the first night, as Dave says, and we pooped.
Enjoying a glass of thimbleberry wine.